fine villagers. It is December 2nd, 2019. It is the afternoon here on the West Coast in California. You're watching PTV. It is the Daily Dose of Disney. Hope you're all having a good day. I've been having a pretty good day myself here. Oh, Captain Akron, awesome. I want my PTV. I love that. Thank you so much. Oh, gosh. It's been actually rather wet out here, drizzly all day, and it looks like it's going to be that way all week, which is a welcome change because we haven't had much rain at all. Of course, we never do. Pam's fam, Stacy, Kay, it is great to see you. Mike Wheeler, and Ben is there too. Oh, wait, I'm part of PTV. True. Good to have you all here. It's a Monday, and at least I don't have to do another Monday for another 6-7 days. So they only come once a week, fortunately. Hello, Pearl. Good to see you. Oh my goodness. So yeah, it is December 2nd, 2019. It's time for the Daily Dose of Disney. Let's see what happened on this day, December 2nd in 1935. On this day, yeah, 1935. That's quite a ways away. Mark Davis, I'm sure you've all heard that name before. Very famously was brought into Disney to add some humor to Disneyland's attractions. He really hit it big with Pirates of the Caribbean and the Haunted Mansion. You could really see his influence there, as well as that of the Country Bear Jamboree, which was originally written for a snow retreat in the Sierra Nevada, but that project fell through, so they transferred that whole project of the Country Bears out to Florida for the Country Bear Jamboree. But he began starting this day in 1935 as an apprentice animator. He was immediately thrown into 2 weeks of intense drawing classes, and he went on to become one of Disney's 9 old men. I'm sure you've heard of them. He created such characters as Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Tinkerbell, Cruella de Vil, and ultimately designing attractions at Disneyland and, of course, Walt Disney World. Man, what an Imagineer. Fantastic Imagineer and artist for the Disney company, Mark Davis. Started on this day in 1935. 1965, Dougie, Mr. Walto Grams himself. How are you doing? Hopefully everything's okay on the other side of the pond. Hello, Alex. Good to see you. Here in 1965, we had a film starring Haley Mills and Dean Jones that was released in theaters. The movie was called That Darn Cat. Kind of a controversial name at that time, I guess. The word darn was a rather strong word in the 60s, I guess you could say. Of course, it was easier to take than other words, but still, That Darn Cat. Hey, looks like Doug is there. Hello, Doug. Thank you for joining and helping out with everything. Blue Nose, good to see you. And Disney World Freak, good to have you. Don't forget to hit that like button as you're coming in or leaving the stream. Really appreciate it. So that was in 1965, That Darn Cat. And on this day in 1967, of course, Disneyland had already experienced the new Tomorrowland had premiered, and they had things like the Rocket Jets premiered. They had the People Mover, Adventure Through Inner Space. Well, on this day, they plussed an attraction that was there already. McDonnell Douglas took over sponsorship of this attraction, Flight to the Moon. And on this day, 15,000 company employees from McDonnell Douglas descended on Disneyland. And it was for McDonnell Douglas Night and the dedication of the attraction, the new Tomorrowland. So, Flight to the Moon. It was also transferred eventually to Magic Kingdom in 1971, I believe it opened. So yeah, of course, it didn't last long. It changed to Mission to Mars when man actually landed on the moon. They wanted to keep it as Tomorrowland, so make it the future. Hi, Lena. Thank you for joining. So yeah, that was in 1967. Samantha, how are you doing? Good to see you. Hope all is well in Florida. Here's an interesting thing. Now, I thought by this time there probably would have been more of these, but apparently not, according to my research. But this happened in 1984. A 20-year-old by the name of Margarita Granados. She was waiting for her husband Juan, who was on the attraction Space Mountain. The Space Mountain had only been around about 7 years, so it was still a very, very newish attraction at Disneyland. But because she was pregnant, she decided not to go on. However, it's a good thing that she didn't, because she actually went into labor when he was waiting. Her husband was waiting in line and went on Space Mountain while she was giving birth at Disneyland. And at that point in 1984, it was only the second birth that was recorded in Disneyland history. 1984, almost 30 years and only 2 babies born. I thought it would have been a higher number by that time. Amy, hello, good to see you. How are you doing? Excuse me. Okay, thought I was gonna sneeze. Guess I didn't. Mike Wheeler. Of course, it's always good to see you here. Oh, I do think I feel the sneeze coming on after all. Trix, hi. And there it is. Okay. So, that was 1984 for the birth. Thank you so much, everyone. Appreciate that. Not often sneezing online. That doesn't happen very often. So, 1988. Now, this is really more specific to Southern California, both of these little stats here. There was a TV station in Los Angeles that had the call letters of KHJ. Not sure what the HJ stood for, if they stood for anything in particular. Lena. I usually sneeze in twos. I'm surprised I only sneezed once at that time, actually. But in 1988, on this day, December 2nd, new ownership took over of Channel 9 in Los Angeles, and it happened to be the Disney company that acquired the station. They changed the call letters to KCAL. Now, that's the station I knew when I lived in Southern California, KCAL 9. They did a lot of independent stuff. They showed a lot of Disney content and also had news broadcasts. So, oh, you're having dinner at the Beer Garden in Epcot. Oh, Neil Patrick Harris is for candlelight tonight. Oh, Donna. Oh, I hope you can get some recorded there. I'd love to see that. That'd be wonderful. Oh, congratulations. That's so much fun. It's wonderful. I love candlelight procession at Epcot. I love it at Disneyland, too. Also on this day, a special store opened at Disneyland, but not for the general guest public. It was for cast members. Company D opened backstage at Disneyland on this day in 1988. Doug and I particularly love going to Company D. They have since really expanded and moved the store off property, and it's rather large. You can get a lot of merchandise, generally half off. Sometimes they have even better clearance prices than that, but it's sometimes even merchandise that is in the park at the time. So sometimes Doug and I hold off on going crazy in some of the shops until we've actually have visited Company D. We have some cast members that always volunteer to take us to Company D, so they're very kind, always good to us. Let's see, 1997. Let's move forward a little bit here. On this day, technology was taking over with the Disney company, and by that I mean no longer videotapes were the exclusive distribution of content for movies, for TV shows and things. On this day, the first batch ever of Disney movies were released on DVD in 1997. Now, I want to say the first DVD that I purchased was in 1998. And it wasn't a Disney film, actually. Yes, you're right. We do not take our friends lightly. We cherish and love them. That is very true, Doug. Very true. So the first movies, there were 8 movies, including George of the Jungle, Phenomenon, Homeward Bound, The Rock, and one of the first 8 films that was released, The Nightmare Before Christmas. So, anyway, 1997, the first batch of DVDs were released from Disney. And of course, they never looked back. They just went on to Blu-ray, as well as now 4K and even streaming now, and digital content that you can download. You know what? I agree. I really loved that. I thought it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. George of the Jungle. Of course, I loved the cartoon originally, but I thought Brendan Fraser made a fantastic George. Just great. He's hysterical. And speaking of DVDs, on this day in 2003, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl was released on DVD. Would you mind very much if I messaged you for Disneyland advice? Thinking of making a trip after next year's Walt. Dougie, I would be honored if you would message me for advice for Disneyland. Please feel free, contact us. If you want to reach out, I'm on direct message, or you can even contact me by email if that's easier, peppertreevilla@gmail.com. But yeah, Dougie, I'd love to talk with you about Disneyland. So yeah, definitely. Okay, so Pirates of the Caribbean was released on this day. Curse of the Black Pearl. I can't believe that was 16 years ago. That movie, it feels like, it doesn't feel that long ago, but yeah, they've already released 5 Pirates films, so it makes sense. It's been that long. Another film they released on this day was Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Caspian. It started a travel agency specializing in Disneyland. Oh, Lena, that would be entertaining. I would enjoy that. But yeah, Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Caspian was released on DVD and Blu-ray. There we are, Blu-ray. Technology continues with the Disney company. They always try and stay cutting edge. And now, of course, for us, I'm a huge fan of Disney Plus. So I can't wait to sit down and watch The Imagineering Story. Doug and I have been pretty busy preparing other things at the villa lately, so we haven't had time to do other things like that. I mentioned I showed you a picture of Up. If you saw my Instagram today and you also saw Twitter or the thumbnail for this video, it shows Mr. Fredricksen and his house. And I brought that up because on this day in 2011, it was reported that a couple from the town of Petaluma, now you may not have heard of Petaluma, but you may have, if you're a Peanuts fan, you may know about it. Snoopy becomes an arm wrestler at one point and travels from his home to Petaluma, California for the annual arm wrestling championship. It held in Petaluma. Now, where's Petaluma? Petaluma is in Northern California. It's very close to us relatively. It is in the Bay Area, south of Santa Rosa in Sonoma County, but it is north of San Francisco. So it's in that range between Marin and Sonoma County, the town of Petaluma. Beautiful little town. If I could afford to live there, I think Doug and I would have a house there instead of the villa where we are. But I just love that. And the reason why I mention that is because that couple have purchased a home that is modeled after Up, the Mr. Fredricksen's house in Up. Now, if you have not seen it, I actually posted a video on YouTube already about the Up house. A friend of mine visited it, took some outside footage of the house, and some really nice footage. Very good friend of mine. And yeah, take a look. It looks exactly like Mr. Fredricksen's house in the cartoon. It is very amusing, and apparently the interior is just as amusing as the exterior. But of course, we don't have access to stuff like that. But it's a great place. So check out my video. I'll see if I can't go in and post it in case you missed it. Post on Twitter, and I'll just repost the video of the Up house. So you can check out that video, make it easier for that. So yeah, that was in 2011 on December 2nd. And they were going to move in after they closed on the house on January 4th, 2012. Now, here's the interesting thing. That house in Utah cost $400,000. That's a little pricey. In fact, that's very pricey, but especially for Utah. But, it was a very special house. Stacy, I am not sure how far back it was. Could be back in July or August that I posted that video. But I'll try and do that. Also in 2012, John Lasseter appeared on The Charlie Rose Show. Now, the interesting thing about this is that he mentions something here in this movie about Pete Docter of Pixar. And Doug and I had heard this information that summer, but we were told not to say anything about it. But it was interesting because John Lasseter mentioned it on The Charlie Rose Show at this time. He talked about a film that Pete Docter was going to do. And these are in his words. Pete Docter is doing a new film that takes place inside a girl's mind, and it is about her emotions as characters, and that is unlike anything you've ever seen. Of course, that movie is Inside Out. Doug and I had a chance to talk with our friend who works at Pixar. He met us for lunch, and he talked about being in a meeting that day where if you he said, if you look at what you've done, what we've done here at Pixar, and if we can work it out and all these details are going to work, this film is going to blow your mind. And it did. I thought the detailing was just beautiful. It was a stunning film. But I enjoy the film. Yeah, that's right. We were sworn to secrecy. Just like we were sworn to secrecy earlier this year when we went to a wedding. We saw the same friend at a wedding. My cousin was marrying a family friend. It's not the usual way that you know both the bride and groom prior to the wedding. It's very interesting that happened, but Doug and I saw him, and we were talking to him, and he said, yeah, we're going to be releasing 10 shorts on Disney Plus when it comes out. Forky. So Forky asks a question. We knew about that in July, but we were sworn to secrecy about that. So, oh, Stacy, that's right. I remember that part of the movie. That's great. So anyway, that is all I have here as far as history goes. I'd like to take this opportunity now to thank my partner channels. We have Two Real Geeks, D&G Explorers, and Rob Fuzz. Now I want to zero in specifically on D&G and thank them for coming over to the villa on Saturday. We had a wonderful time with Friendsgiving. It was just a lot of fun. We had a great time just talking all day long. And we may mention this again tonight during our broadcast. Oh, fantastic, Lena, that's great. We may mention this tonight on our broadcast because PTV Live is going on at 10 p.m. Eastern. And tonight we're going to be discussing the Christmas forest and the origins of the forest at PTV. So you'll find out all about that tonight. And yeah, ask Derek about pickles because he went on a pickle hunt at the villa that day. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, definitely. Oh, good, Lena. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're going to be staying up for it tonight. Thank you. Appreciate it. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight as we talk about the forest. Yeah, Doug's right. Derek's search went on for hours. So tonight on the Disney YouTube network, we have Mickey sightings at 4 p.m. Pacific time, of course, but I'll mention all Eastern time instead. Eastern time, Mickey sightings. Sean and Susie will be discussing Disney as they usually do. At 8 p.m., we have Steve's World. So Steve is on his channel. I'm not sure what Steve's topic is for tonight, but I'm sure he probably has it advertised on his channel. He usually posts early. So does Meg of Mickey's Magic. She does that as well. So you may want to check that out. And you may also want to check out, hopefully she is going live tonight. That is, what is Vlogmas? Yes, that's going to be it. Thank you, Stacy. Tonight on Two Real Geeks, Jess will be discussing entertainment news. She usually goes live on Monday nights at 9 o'clock, just before our show. Same time that May goes on. So you have decisions to make. You've got choices to make. So yeah, Mickey's Magic and Two Real Geeks on at 9 p.m. And then at 10 p.m., of course, Pepper Tree Villa is going to be on tonight as we discuss the Christmas forest at Villa D. The origins, actually, because it's actually a story. It's a story 30 years in the making. 30 years plus now, because some of our ornaments are even older than that we have in our personal collections. But you'll want to find out all about that. And but that's about it for tonight, for today. Great. Doug will be making a thumbnail after this, and as soon as I get that thumbnail, I'll put it out there and advertise it on Twitter and on Instagram. Everyone, you'll see that it's going to be the Christmas origins, and we're already in episode 30-something for PTV Live, so be paying attention. It's a lot of fun. I have one choice. Let's just have PTV all night. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. That would be wonderful, actually. I would love that. So, everyone, thank you so much for joining me today for this edition of the Daily Dose of Disney, and I've had fun chatting with you. Thank you so much. A PTV all-nighter. Okay, Dougie. You know what? Maybe we'll try and do that sometime, and we'll try and make it so that you can actually catch it first thing in the morning rather than at night. And Stacy, oh, good question. Did we hit our hours yet? We did. We had a wonderful Thanksgiving because we hit our hours. We are now, I have to apply for the monetization of the channel, but yeah, we did hit our hours, 4,000. So thank you so much. Oh, Cindy, Candy Mom, you just got done eating. Good to see you here. Thank you so much. I'm just about to wrap things up. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Oh, and Does Our Dreams got monetized too. So yeah, we are going to be monetized very shortly. We just have to apply for it and go through all the rigmarole of that. Oh, thank you. One last question. How did your nephew make out with the fire? Stacy, that is a great question. As it turns out, the evacuations were lifted and no structures were lost in the fire last week. So thank you so much for your prayers. I cannot believe that was a week ago that happened, and we were all thinking about that. But the rains came in and they really squashed down all the fires that were hitting California at that point. Thank you so much, Stacy. And Candy Mom, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait to see that. We've got the tree. Oh, Lena, thank you. I tell you, that really means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Great news to hear about your nephew. Yes, Grace, thank you. Yes, Blue Nose, fantastic. Thank you so much. We are grateful, very grateful for our community here, our villagers. We just love our village just so much. I better get back to my desk. I gotta finish off a report so I can get that to my CEO's office in a timely fashion. So everyone, have a great evening. There's a lot to talk about tonight. Walt, hello, happy Monday to you. Thank you, Lena, we love you too. Thank you so much. Everyone, I've got to get going to my desk, but thank you so much for joining me for today's edition of the Daily Dose. I'll be back tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific with another edition of the Daily Dose of Disney. In the meantime, everyone, have a great evening. There's a lot of choices to make tonight on the Disney YouTube network, so we'll see you tonight at 10 p.m. for PTV Live. Ben, Doug, and me, we will be showing you some of our Christmas forest and talking all about it, so don't miss that. We'll see you later. Good night. And have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. I'll see you later tonight on PTV Live. Thanks, everyone. Bye.